The Israeli settlement of Shiloh is perched in the highlands of the occupied West Bank. Jewish settlements such as Shiloh have recently seen rapid expansion onto land claimed by Palestinians. And Jewish settlers are optimistic that incoming U.S. President Donald Trump will help them realize a key goal: the annexation or absorption of the West Bank into Israel, despite Palestinian objections. Yisrael Medad is a Jewish Israeli activist who lives in Shiloh.
I think that we're still in a process of getting both the American administration, the United Nations, and other people to realize that our rights extend to Judea and Samaria, and eventually we will be able to have sovereignty here.
Since conquering the West Bank from Jordan in a 1967 war, Israel has not officially annexed the territory. And Palestinians, Israeli peace activists, and previous U.S. administrations have hoped the West Bank would one day become part of an independent Palestinian state alongside Israel. One Palestinian activist said the expansion of settlements had left Palestinian villages in the central West Bank surrounded. He said much of the expansion was happening without formal approval from the government, telling Reuters, quote, "Areas across the center of the West Bank are under the control of settlers now." According to analysis from the Israeli non-government group Peace Now, which tracks settlement expansion, at least 43 new settler outposts have been established over the past year. That's compared with an average of under 7 a year since 1996. Most countries consider the West Bank occupied territory and deem the settlements illegal under international law. That position was upheld by the UN's top court in July. At the same time, violence by Jewish settlers against Palestinians in the West Bank has escalated, drawing international condemnation and U.S. and European sanctions. It is difficult to see how the next Trump administration could balance Israel absorbing the West Bank with preserving Palestinian dreams of statehood. One of the diplomatic achievements of Trump's first term in office is what are called the Abraham Accords, a deal that normalized relations between Israel and 4 Arab nations. And Trump may likely want to expand the accords to include Saudi Arabia. But Riyadh rejects Israeli claims to sovereignty in the West Bank. Former U.S. Mideast envoy Dennis Ross told Reuters, quote, "There is no way the Saudis will think seriously about joining if Israel formally absorbs the West Bank."
I recognize Judea and Samaria as part of Israel.
But many figures in the incoming Trump administration, particularly those on the American Christian right, are explicitly sympathetic to Israel's settler movement. They include Christian evangelical Mike Huckabee, who Trump named as his next ambassador to Israel. Many American evangelicals affirm what they say are ancient Jewish claims to the land, which they call by the biblical names Judea and Samaria. Near the settlement of Shiloh is an archaeological site that some identify with biblical figures such as Hannah and the prophet Samuel. Huckabee, as well as Trump's nominee for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, have visited the site. Huckabee did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
Many of the people in the new administration have been here to Shiloh with us, have prayed with us, have toured with us, have come because they understand the biblical significance and how important this is to Israel.
Eliana Passington lives in the nearby settlement of Eli and serves on the regional council.
And I think that the new administration understands and appreciates the right we have as Jews to the biblical heartland.
In his first term, Trump moved the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. He also ended Washington's long-held position that settlements are illegal. But in 2020, his plan to create a rump of a Palestinian state along existing boundaries derailed efforts by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for Israeli sovereignty over the area. Now, Israeli activists hope that sovereignty will finally be made official.
Our hope is that we will take a decision together.
Israel Gantz is the head of the Yesha Council, an umbrella group of Israeli settlements in the occupied territories.
I understand that the responsibility on the Israeli government, but I hope that Trump administration will let them take the decision that will be good for the state of Israel, and I will say for the Middle East.